Seth, why do you have 9 stitches in your face? That's a great question. I'll be happy to answer it. But first, hit that subscribe button for me, would you? I did something really dumb recently. And this isn't the first level of dumb where you do something that doesn't really affect or hurt anybody, like the cinnamon challenge or cutting your own hair. There's another level of dumb where somebody might kind of get hurt, usually yourself, with like, let's eat a Tide Pod, or let's jump off of a roof with an umbrella to see if we can actually fly. And there's another type of dumb where you know damn well that somebody could probably get hurt, and seriously, like weaving in and out of traffic. Then there's another type where you plan for a certain scenario, or at least you're told what to do in a certain scenario, and you hope that you never actually have to encounter that. Like a grease fire in a kitchen where you don't throw water on it, or hopefully you never encounter a mountain lion, but if you do, don't ever run. Well, I did one of those types of dumbs recently. I fought off a mugger in Mexico. If you've been following this channel at all, you know that I'm on a journey to try to figure out how to do life the way that I want to do life. And at the moment, I want to experience life to its fullest, and that's good, bad, and ugly. I feel like I have tried to avoid the bads, the low times in life for the last few years, and I think in turn that's made me miss a lot of the highlights as well. So I just hopped on a plane and went to Mexico a few weeks early to just experience life. And let me tell you, it was a hell of an experience with a hell of an ending. So I was in Puerto Vallarta for the better part of a week, and I'd made a few friends there, and we were down in the area where all of the bars and clubs are at. So I'd been there a few times, but I hadn't been to this particular bar. I decided to head home. Done it quite a few times before. Felt like I was in a very safe city, and there was a huge celebration going on, so there was tons of people around all over the place. On my way home, I ended up taking the wrong road. I knew that I was going parallel with the ocean, and I figured that, well, I could just cut over whenever. So I just stayed on this road for a while until it started to wind its way up into the mountains, and I realized that this is not where I want to go. It's getting a little bit sketchy. There's not that good a light. All the crowds are far away. So took out my phone, and I'm trying to find my way back. As I'm heading back, I keep trying to cut over to get to the road that I knew that I needed to be on, but everything was a dead end. So I had hit 4 or 5 dead ends, and then I get to this small courtyard, and somebody grabs me from behind. All I remember hearing is the word peso, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I look down, and he's got his fingers like this in his coat, trying to make it look like there's a gun in there. Well, as soon as I realized it wasn't a gun, that's when I did the really dumb thing. I know you're just supposed to give them what they're asking for and be on your way, but I didn't do that. I reacted, and I pushed this guy as hard as I could, and then, boom! He clocked me. And this is how I got these 5 stitches. Let's just say my natural reaction apparently is not flight, it's definitely fight. When this guy punched me, he flipped a switch, and I started seeing red. And I'll tell you what, it was the first time in my life where I could fully act upon it, and it felt good. We started brawling. I don't remember all of the details, and the details I do remember I don't need to share, but all you really need to know is it ended up with his shirt shredded and me chasing him down the street with all of my possessions at hand until I snapped out of it and realized I had to get the hell out of there. Once I finally got free, I was able to make my way back to the hostel, and I was just a few blocks away when I ran into a friend of mine. Fortunately, she's an amazing human being, and when she saw the state that I was in, she just took charge. She got me to the doctors, got me stitched up. She was my translator. She took me to the pharmacy and got the medication that I needed, and then even bandaged me up. So I know I've said it 100 times before. You know who you are. Thank you. Side note, 9 stitches in Mexico costs less than $20. This all happened the morning of the day that I was supposed to be leaving for the States. So I didn't get back to the hostel till about 5 o'clock in the morning, and my flight left at 4 in the afternoon. So Once I got back, I was able to get a little bit of sleep and basically had breakfast and had to get on a plane. I got on the airplane and headed to San Francisco, where I had an 18-hour layover overnight. So honestly, I didn't even get a chance to really process this till I got back in Hawaii. Once I finally got back to Hawaii after the long flights and the long layovers, I had a little bit of time for this to sink in. It really hit me that this could have been way, way different. And that's so easy to say, like, logically. And I'm not talking about just, oh, I got that thought in my head. No, it really hit me in the gut. Like, this could have gone way different for any other reasons. This guy could have just come up and clocked me upside the head without me knowing about it. He could have had a real gun. He could have been a better fighter. He could have had friends around the corner. Anything could have gone way differently, and I would have just been another statistic. When I realized that things could have been completely different, I could have been killed or seriously injured, it hit me pretty deep, and something really interesting happened. I was completely filled with contentment and pride, because in situations like that, you're forced to ask yourself, what would I change in my life? What would I do differently? Knowing that it could have ended. And honestly, I wouldn't change a damn thing. For the first time in my life, I'm finally doing what I want to do. I'm traveling where I want to travel. I'm with the people I want to be with. I'm learning the things that I want to learn. And I have never been happier in my entire life. And so for those of you out there that are unhappy with what you're doing, I cannot encourage you enough to make the change. And I'm not somebody that's got it figured out at all. Quite frankly, I'm very confident I've gotten nothing figured out. But I made a change a few months ago to go down the road that I wanted to go down. And looking down there, it looks tough. It's definitely the road less traveled. But this is a path that I want to walk. And if you know that you're in a place that you're unhappy, the only person that can change that is you. And so I encourage you, make the change, quit the job, book the ticket, ask the person out. You only live once, and everybody knows that, but I tell you what, tomorrow is not promised. And when you get your face cracked open, it brings a new perspective to things. So I hope you join me on this journey, and the best way to do so is to hit that subscribe button.